Alright, so I hit the streaming button. Should be coming up live. Hopefully we can have a conversation. Internet is better either on my side or through YouTube. You guys get to decide. You should actually be enjoying what you're seeing now. This background is going away quite quickly within the next few days, some might say. And then we can go from there. Ba, 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 wah, 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 wah. Alright, sorry, I was setting something else up too. Assuming anyone comes, maybe nobody comes. Maybe you guys are so bored. I wanted to do these for you like every day, and then you won't come, and it'll make me sad. Because I always want you guys to arrive and to have a good time. That's what this is all about. It's all about having a good time. You know, you and me getting together, just talking, chatting, enjoying our days, and going from there. You know how it be. You know how it be. What's going on, Wolfmaster? Hope you're doing well. Got Mike Wake Waterfield in the house. JJ MFDL, always fun. Oh, Sci-Fi Therapy, everybody's coming. That's good. I'm glad. Do you hear the people sing? You had the first like. Well, then there we go. Basically, this is all set up. Basically, we've won the game. It depends a lot, because some species may be genderless or able to switch from female to male in their gender. Maybe. Maybe. Alright, so let's... found this one channel. She kind of gives the information well, at least from what I saw the first couple of minutes. So we'll watch her a moment. We'll kind of go through it. We'll have a discussion on it. Because apparently, one of the most annoying pieces, like, I really do respect how hard Discovery and the Star Trek universe and everybody who's making it is going in on the LGBT plus thing. Like, it's not just a money grab for them. They honestly want to push this. So I can respect that. The one thing that is cringe, though, is trying to rewrite history. And that's what I kind of feel like they're doing. So we're going to take a look at that for a second and then go from there. Let me do a sound check real quickly. Hold on. She's also a little bit dry, so we're going to listen to it a little bit faster.
You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Today is Wednesday, June 30th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news.
Alright, how's that sound versus me? Her talking, me
Podcast
talking,
Network.
going on. By the way, I know she sounds normal right there. I actually got it at 1.25, which is why it sounds the way it does. Also, let me adjust one quick thing. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Do you know Sony's still holding that Trelane video hostage? Can you believe that? For those who don't know, Sony has copyright my Trelane video for the Star Wars theme that's never in the Trelane video. Hi, hey guys, it's all about the money. Sounds fine, loud and clear. She's a little quieter than you. Sounds good. I can turn her up just a little bit. Alright, here we go.
Berry podcast.
Today is Wednesday, June 30th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. On today's show, StarTrek.com's artist Rob DeHart talks about queer representation in Star Trek.
Here we go.
The U.S. Air Force Academy hands out George Takei's memoir, They Called Us Enemy, to cadets. And I've got this week's Star Trek history. I'm Allison Pitt, and today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
By the way, how am I not getting these sponsorships? I don't mean this in a bad way. I actually think that this is a fair enough channel. Everything looks pretty decent. She only has like 1,000 subscribers, though. I mean, she needs to have more. I honestly think this needs to be like a 50,000 subscriber channel. Don't get me wrong. But at 1,000, already getting better. I mean, I actually like BetterHelp. I think I'm one of the only people on Earth that does. But I mean, where are mine? And you guys get mad at me because I do Raid.
Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN.
God, I hope
As
that's
Pride
not.
Month draws to a close, StarTrek.com sat down for a conversation with their resident artist, Rob DeHart, to discuss his observations on queer representation in Star Trek, as well as his new collection in the Star Trek store, featuring...
So we're talking about LGBT, but we're doing the measure of a man. I guess it's... I don't know. I don't completely understand where that's coming from, but...
designs that celebrate fandom and the LGBT community. While the latest generation of Trek shows features characters who are openly gay, non-binary, and trans, in the interview, DeHart also points out subtextual themes of queer representation in older series that speak powerfully to him. I think one of my favorite things when it comes to representation would be the Trill species, he says, because they don't put limits on the hosts. Whenever a
Except for you have to be the best of the best if you're going to be a host. You have to be the most intellectual, the most important, the most charismatic. You have to be hand-selected. In fact, the symbionts ensure that there's an entire religion around it, to where Trill is basically everything is about the symbiotes. But, okay, they don't put limits on hosts. That's unfair, given what he's about to say, but still.
They don't put limits on the hosts. Whenever a symbiont is attached to a host, they become something new. The idea in the story is of gender fluidity and same-sex relation, and just general openness when it comes to acceptance. DeHart...
See, here's my problem. Here's where I have one of the big issues. I don't necessarily want to take anything away from DeHart either. If that's what he gets out of it, that's fine. But the truth is that it is a rewrite of history. Or they put it in and they were so ashamed of it that they never really went down hard on it. You know? It really isn't something that necessarily seems like the writers were going out of their way. They did play with it a little bit, using same-sex relationships, as well as, changing genders and whatnot. But it really just feels like a rewrite of history to say that they were trying to make this an LGBT plus diversity non-binary character. In fact, there's more evidence that it's not. That they'll bring it up a little bit or they'll mock. Like trans rights, trans identity wasn't very... They weren't worried about protecting it. Now, it was still rising where they wanted to promote homosexuality. Though, again, they only did homosexuality light. They kept girls kissing, never put two guys together. Because why make a statement that bold? Don't know that I agree with that, Chief Cook. Once again, LGBT white folks want to change everything their way. Not sure about that. I just don't think... I don't think that it was good trans representation. I think it's a rewrite. Now, why is this important? Why do I care? Why am I coming back and making a big deal out of this? Which is a fair enough question. The reason why I am doing those things is because I think it's important that we are truthful about things and that we address things the way they should be, right? I think there's a lot of good LGBT plus representation in Discovery. Even if you hate, like, the writing of Discovery, it doesn't feel like Trek. If you remove all of those other things and you look at the representation and how it puts characters together and the diversity of it, mostly it does it really well. We didn't do that in the past. And it's important that we just say we didn't do that in the past. We saw an error. We're trying to correct for it. We're trying to show that it's a normalization. And it's a part of history that's unfortunate, but it happened. That's just my opinion. We'll continue going. I don't think there's much more to it. Give us Jonathan Frakes making out with a dude. Well, I dig it.
Hart, who points to Voyager as his first contact with the franchise, also sees subtext in Seven of Nine's character during that series, a subtext which has come to the surface now in Star Trek Picard. When you watch it the first time, you don't think about it.
This is a good point. Exactly my point. There's no way. I want to hear where we're talking about how 7 of 9 had always been bisexual, because she's at this point would be bisexual. To be homosexual is a retcon of the character. So I would be very interested in how we're going to make her bisexual, and we didn't need to. That's the thing. Well, we didn't need to say that it happened in the original series, and maybe they'll say that. In Voyager, you could say that she had no idea who she was. She didn't get to experience it. And so now she's coming around to it, and maybe it took more than a couple of years. I mean, people who are born who are born homosexual, who are homosexual all their lives, or even bisexual, or trans, it takes them like maybe even past their teenage years to accept or understand or realize that. Hell, myself, I honestly didn't. I was like completely 100% fully committed to being straight for a good fucking part of my life. Like, it's only been a recent change. So you could say that she just didn't realize that, or that something had occurred to make her change her mind on it. But there's no evidence that it occurred beforehand, that it was any part of Voyager. Now, I'll be interested to see where we go here, but I just don't think it's there. Sorry, guys, my thing went out.
He shared. But then when you go back and you watch and observe and you pay more attention, you're like, I see it.
Where?
He points to a similar subtext with Bashir and Garrick.
Oh, so we don't bring it up. So we just say that we see it, but we don't actually even talk about it. Now, I'll go to the actual article in just a second, because I was hoping that she might bring it up. But where do you see it? Where is it coming? There is no evidence from. I would be very, very interested to see evidence.
Star Trek Deep Space.
Oh, and of course, because this thing can't charge, right? Sorry, I need to get a new one. Really? Where's your god now? Alright, hold on. That should fix it. What's going on, Jesse Gender? Hope you're doing well.
Space 9, adding, it makes you feel seen a little bit, even if it's not
Really? Sorry, guys. We're going to let that charge for a second. So let's talk about Garrick and Bashir. Because unlike 7 of 9, Garrick and Bashir actually has... I think it's a rewrite. Well, I don't think. It is a rewriting. I'm not going to like hide behind that. It is an absolute rewriting. To say Bashir and Garrick were like meant to be together or had some kind of tryst or something like that. It was a rewrite. It was. That's just the way it is. But there's more evidence for that than there is 7 of 9. At a minimum, I think you could say that Garrick was probably... I don't want to say polyamorous. What's the word I'm looking for? He was... I don't even want to say... I would say he was like a Jadzia to a degree. Now, whether he was like Jadzia because he was a spy and he simply wanted to get information, or that was his base character, anyone can argue. But I don't think that there's any real evidence between those two, you know? And for 7 of 9, and Jesse, maybe you can bring it up. Jesse, I do not see any evidence at all that 7 of 9 had any inclinations to be anything other than heterosexual in Voyager. I'm not really, and so JJMFDL, I'm not sure what, pansexual, okay. I would agree that he's pansexual, but I'm not really, I don't care what the actor says, especially when this documentary was made after Discovery and they were trying to portray themselves as being Discovery before Discovery was Discovery. I'm not really interested. I'm interested in what happens on screen. That said, I do think he was pansexual. What's going on, Fancy Lad? Jesse, what do you... is there any evidence? Now, again, her being bisexual in Picard is fine if it's done well. I don't have any issues with that. But I feel like it diminishes the character to try to rewrite her as anything other than hetero within Voyager. And I don't know how long you were here for that, but I think that you could even explain it pretty accurately, because the character, she was a Borg for most of her life, right? And so she may not even realize what she wants and was going with what she thought the standard was. She could find out that she's bisexual or homosexual, I guess, at a later point. So I think it makes sense, but I don't think there's any evidence. I think you're just rewriting. And if you rewrite, I think it diminishes the character. It doesn't allow the character to grow. It doesn't allow the character to move into stages of their life. What about when 7 of 9 bit B'Elanna? Did 7 of 9 bite B'Elanna? When did she bite B'Elanna? I don't even remember that. Yeah, Picard retroactively did that. 7. You could, again, Donovan, you could make the argument that she may not have known, and so that's why it didn't show in Voyager. Because, again, I mean, I've only been identifying as what I identify as, bisexual, and one day hoping to marry Jesse for a couple years now. So who the hell knows? And I'm like my kids would call me very, very old. So there is that. 7 was possessed by a Klingon that was assimilated at the time. Ah, gotcha. That could make a fun story. And depending on how the writing was, I think you could incorporate it, yeah. She wanted to mate with... Oh, well, I mean, then I guess you have that. I guess I stand corrected. You know what's funny? Jesse's probably not here, so we can just deny that I ever said the marriage thing. Plus, it irks another person by the name of Allie, so that's why I do it. If she's even watching, she may not even be watching. To be honest, writing a discovery of her sexuality later in life would have been a great idea, since it's something not tackled by a lot of media that a lot of older LGBT could relate to. Well, and I don't disagree with that, Hobby-chan, but the thing is, the intriguing piece is that the writers aren't going to do that. They don't write like that. I wish to God that I would be okay with presenting a character in a way that they weren't to begin with, and then showing throughout the series why that is the way it is. I actually like that kind of writing. I think that writing is pretty decent. But Picard and Discovery, they've never done that. At least I don't think so. I don't think they've ever written... They've done flashbacks, but never like that. All right, we can start talking now. Ethan has arrived, so that's always a plus. I hope we see 7's sexuality evolve in Picard's. Yeah. No, Chris, I rewatched the episode. What are you talking about? I remember an episode where she was connected to the Borg, and I remember aspects of the different, her different assimilations. There was even a scene where she could get lost in there. They were afraid that her core component of who she was going to get lost. I don't remember a lot about that. When 7 came on board, she had 0 sexual experience. She just responded to the expectations of the crew. Given that, I don't think a female ever expressed any interest in her. I guess. Yeah, but I mean, again, I still think you'd need to write it. I hate that basically what they did, in my opinion, is that they basically took 7 of 9 and they they blank slated 7 of 9. They tried to have it both ways. They wanted a character that you could have that was an OG character. But they wanted to write her any way they wanted to write her. They wanted someone just a blank slate. And that's what they did. That's why a lot of people get upset. I doubt Borg have sex. If I could design a sentient alien species for Star Trek, would you model them after a type of sentient animal or something else entirely? I'm not sure. I honestly would probably look at creating a society or a culture and then work my way backwards from that. I guess she forgot everything when she got back to the real world, so it doesn't even matter. Yeah, that's one of my biggest issues with the character. As I said, they blank slated her. They just created a brand new character. I don't know. At the end of Voyager, 709 was supposed to be developing a relationship with Chakotay. It would be better to just create new characters. You know, the thing is just because she's creating a relationship with Chakotay doesn't mean that she can't create a relationship with other people or have a relationship with other people. It just means that at the end of that, she was with Chakotay. I really wish that they had... I really wish that they would have at least talked to that. Maybe they will in Picard Season 2. I really doubt it. Yeah, and another piece, like... It's not in canon, so it's not a big deal for me. But one of the things they do try to do is basically everyone, like, has sex and relationships with everyone. They did this with Rafi. Apparently Rafi, according to something. You two okay? You guys gonna be okay? You need help or... Sorry, my cats are fighting. Rafi slept with the Admiral that she got the information from. So... At the end of the day, characters from Star Trek have been around for decades. Even the first ones from the 60s, ones from more recent years, still have had decades to change. That's fine, Mara Nanor. That is okay. But do we want to tell a good story? Do we want to have things that are entertaining? Do we want to make sure that our audience grows with our characters? Or do we just want to say that, you know, decades happen? Because in theory, what they could do, and you can't tell me, and I'll tell you what, if you eat it and you say you're okay with it, I'll take your word at it. But they could say Picard Season 2 takes 10 years, happens 10 years later, and Picard is now a raging Nazi who hates all homosexuals and thinks that, in fact, you should drink the blood of the young. Now, here's the thing, Marinator. At the end of the day, characters from Star Trek have been around for decades. Even the first ones from the 60s. Ones from more recent years still have had decades to change. So Picard could have been a blood-sucking from the young Nazi after a decade or so. Because again, they've had years and decades to change. You know, they're not going to explain it. He's just going to come on there, and that's what he's going to do. First thing he's going to do is find a toddler and just pop him off and drink it like a beer. But, I mean, it's okay, because he's had a decade to change. We don't need to change it. It's all right. It's just a natural progression of the character. So I'm not sure why you're getting all upset about it. What's going on, Universal Union? Hell of a time for you to come in. Hey, that's disrespectful to bloodsuckers. They're not as bad. If Picard had been tortured and mind-washed, I get your explanation. Oh, I get it. You want explanation like a rational... I do, in fact, want explanation like a rational person. It's unfortunate. I should not watch what I'm watching if I want explanation from rational people. That's where the failure comes through. Indeed. Let me check something, because I'm going to be very upset if something happened. Did not. Okay. There are 5 lights. At this point, I don't care. How is Star Trek canon determined in comparison to something like Star Wars canon? They're basically, Star Wars and Star Trek canon are determined the same way, which is basically by the executives and the owners of the IP. However, Star Wars itself allows the ancillary stuff to be canon. So, for instance, books, games, things like that are considered quote-unquote canon. I choose to believe that what you said about everything after Generations is Picard in the text. A lot of people like that one. A lot of people enjoyed that one. Alright, let's try this again. Let's see.
explicitly stated. The Star Trek store says this of DeHart's new collection. The Star Trek store says this of DeHart's new collection. From the ambassadors of queer adult short-sleeve t-shirt to the Warp Speed Proud phone case, this collection has something for every Star Trek fan. You can check it out at shop.startrek.com, and you can see more art by Rob DeHart on his website at robdehart.com.
Okay, so I guess we didn't have much to add to that. All right. Then she goes on talking about what the military did. Let's see the thing by itself. Where is DeHart? Through Star Trek, I found pride in being a queer man in STEM. I think that's probably... Is that DeHart? Or is this someone else different? I think it's interesting and speaks to it that I can't tell where DeHart's his thing would be. If it's talking about being transformed. That doesn't look like that's by DeHart. Here it is. Star Trek helped me reconcile with my name. That looks like it is. Or is that not DeHart either? One fan found. Nope. Wow. Okay, hold on. Wait for it. Here it is. Celebrate Pride with Star Trek artist Rob DeHart. There we go. Huh. It's a man in a dress. Pink fluffy dress. Intriguing. Alright. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Alright, here we go. Let's see if our lad Rob actually walks us through it. Am I Colombian? I am not Colombian. I don't know why you'd think I'm Colombian. There's the actual thing. Just been watching your Borg video, and I found what you said about how 8472 could have destroyed Voyager, but didn't because they just wanted the scar. Yeah, it's really a lot to that. It's kind of crazy. Here we go. I think one of my favorite. What are your favorite moments of queer representation in the franchise, either canonical or subtextual, or fan interpretation? I think one of my favorite things when it comes to representation, this is the Rob DeHart guy, would be the Trill species. We talked about that. I also like the subtext of 7 of 9 being gay and similar things. When you watch it the first time, you don't think about it. But then you go back and you watch it, observe, and you pay more attention. You're like, I see it. The same thing with Bashir and Garrick. They never say it. Why does StarTrek.com, their writers, do that? Have you ever noticed that? They never back anything up. They randomly say it. They don't go into it. They just like, well, I think the subtext is there. I mean, personally, I thought the subtext of Janeway being a Nazi and Janeway going and wanting to destroy the nation of Israel, I thought that was pretty, I went too far. Now, I mean, when you first watch it, you don't see it. But on the second playthrough, you get the context, you know? Now, SqueezeGar2322, I think where we'll have issues is that you say, but not when it's done sloppily, only for the sake of filling quotas. I'd be curious what quotas you think are being filled and how you would justify that. They have the IP, so they can say it's there when it's not. I disagree. See, here's the fun thing about the way I and a lot of people look at all of this. Through Death of the Author, we can actually take a look what's in there, what is a part of canon, and we can break it down and verify if it's true or not. Thank God there is actual theory around this. Because if we look at it the other way, the author can come back, say something random, and we just have to take it. Look at Harry Potter and the creator of that for stupid shit. You could also, in theory, based on that, they could do, like I said beforehand, they could say, hey, Picard always hated he always hated the state of Israel. He did. He thought Israel shouldn't exist, and the people within Israel and their heritage shouldn't exist either. And even though there's no evidence for that, it's now true because I own the IP. Nope. Sorry. That right there is why everyone should believe in death of the author. That's why there should be no other theories. That right there. I'm with you. It's Batman and Robin all over again. The director said it was our intention. We call BS. Yeah. Why make a person something they're not to begin with? Is it a move story or to make a point? First off, again, it depends on how it happens, because people can be things and not exhibit those at the beginning, So I think you could make the argument. It depends on what we're talking about. But like, for instance, we don't have Kirk, we don't have Spock. The way that the camera and the dialogue, I think some of it is kind of weird the way it's done, but I don't think they ever really have a relationship in that way. Like, there are some points there that make it seem like there may be attraction, but they never actually, there's no actual defined evidence, as it were, So to rewrite Kirk and Spock when you could write Stamets in the Doctor, I think is silly. Lore Reloaded, what's my favorite DS9 shocking moments? When I originally watched it, the Breen almost ensuring a complete Federation destruction was pretty crazy. In the Pale Moonlight, hit me pretty hard. Garrick and Bashir are bubs, just not bros. I don't know what bubs is. What's a bub? Nova Snowpaul. They do it because the writers and producers have to get their content past TV censors and concerned parents. So they have to water down anything controversial. Boys kissing, think of all the children. That's fine. If you want to go that way, first off, I don't believe that. I think maybe the parents in conservative families. Could two men kiss on television? 1990. When were homosexuals allowed on television? Da, da, da. So it looks like even as early as the 1960s? Yeah, 1961. Huh. There was, in the movie. So they could have two guys kissing. I don't think they would have had issues with, the Hays Code. As someone with a bachelor's in digital cinematography, I never knew what the Hays Code was. Can you explain that to me? The Hays Code, the motion picture officially banned the code in 1968. Oh, that'd explain why we saw it in the 1960s then. When the Hays Code went down, that's when we started seeing it. Huh. Really? That is insane. Like, what is... So the Hays Code, was that... So, J. Ray, the Hays Code, was that, like, attached to something? Like there's these big... There's a big building that has 3 letters, an A, an M, and a C. And when I go in there, they're able to make these images like moving on the screen. And it's like it's real. It's like it's there, but they're not. They're just on it. It's like it's on a screen. And then all around me, there was there was like sounds and stuff, like it was coming from it. Is that like, what is that called? Like, it was like it was a picture in motion. You know, anyway, sorry, I don't know why I'm being a jerk. But yeah, the Hays Code didn't exist in the 1990s. Motion pictures, I could. And the censors wouldn't have stopped that. Now, you could say that it was conservatives, parents, and I completely believe. See, here's the other thing that I think is absolutely true. People hate this. People on the left hate this, but the honest to God truth is that TNG and DS9, as well as Voyager, honestly, had a large conservative fandom, and people got to eat. And so they could only do so much without pissing them off. They even admit this in the DS9 documentary and behind the scenes. They've talked about it, and I even put it in my video. I think that's why they went like balls to the walls in Discovery. It was an overcorrection, if anything, and but it's going to be what it's going to be. You didn't put it in. Now, there may be reasons why you didn't put it in, even reasons people can understand why you didn't put it in. But you didn't put it in, so don't rewrite it. If it's what you wanted to put and you were so convinced, you were so convinced, you wanted your convictions out there, then you should have done it. What's it say? You rolls the dice and you take your chances, as they say in Babylon 5. But you didn't. So you didn't do it. I don't know why I'm being a jerk. 2015, 2021, it's fun. J. Ray, I think you've been on the channel before. I honestly was just giving you a hard time. Believe it or not, a lot of people come at you. I know you didn't, but a lot of people come at me, similar like you do. So my natural response to it is just to be a jerk. And it's just me having fun. So I appreciate you staying here and not getting too pissed off about it. Soaps in the 76ers had the first gay regular cast member, and 30-something in the 80s was the first show to openly depict a gay adult. I saw something, and I could go back and take a look, but from the sources I found, they actually had gay representation in 1960s. Now, that said, it could have been very, very light or very quick, so it's possible that it tried to go under the radar and did. You know what I love? Like, we have the Hays Code and everything, and the golden age of cinema. And basically, the golden age is when movie theaters had all of the power and were like had a stranglehold on the little guy, and forced people to watch what they wanted them to watch. That's the golden age of cinema, apparently. Breen versus Tholians. Who do I think would win? Breen versus Tholians. I would go Tholians. Cinema is fascinating. I mean, even if you don't have an interest in going into film or anything, reading cinema and the history, like the first, I'd have to look exactly what it up, but the first documentary was actually done by a woman who was doing Russian propaganda. It's just crazy. It's really interesting. The first motion, I'd have to go back and look. The first motion ever caught on camera was done by a still frame, and it's a blurry image. And it was done like in the 20s or before that. And it was a black and white. And it's blurry because it takes so long to take a shot that someone had moved during that time, and so it was just a blurry little thing on the image, but that's technically the first motion caught by camera. So it's really interesting. Golden Age of cinema had a lot of white men and brown face. Yeah, Golden Age of cinema was pretty dumb. Have I seen the celluloid I'm guessing you're seeing Closet? No, I don't think I've heard of that. Maybe. They made me watch a lot of stuff in film school. Celluloid Closet. 1995 film. No, I haven't. That looks interesting. I'll have to take a look at it. So yeah, Star Trek legacy characters. I don't know that there was a legacy character. Jadzia arguably. Well, no, Jadzia was bisexual. Was there was there a gay character with the exception of Jadzia? I don't really think there was until Discovery. Was there? Well, there are a lot of conservative families in the U.S., so if Disney and others push out stuff they don't want to see, they won't watch it. Then people call them names for not watching it. I mean, yeah, that's how our country works right now, for sure. Think about this for a second and think it hard to come out as a gay person on Earth, but imagine being a Klingon doing it on Kronos. I maintain that Lieutenant Reed is I mean, we don't ever see him having a relationship. I don't know that he's gay. And I'll tell you why. Here's why I'll tell you why. There was an episode, because I did the full Xindi War arc, and there was an episode where Reed didn't have any kids, because they got to go back. What happened was you had the ship, and then another ship, which was that ship, was the NX-01 Enterprise. It was just from like 60 years in the past or whatever, came back, and Reed was upset. He was very frustrated because he didn't have any kids. And so, I mean, I guess that doesn't definitively mean that he's not gay. It's just, I don't know. I don't think there is any more conservative families in the country so much as very conservative people running the studio. No, Donovan, I can tell you, while we're going to remove Berman because he was, I don't even know that he was conservative. He was just straight skeezy. Writers and producers and even actors were pretty liberal, but they went out of their way to talk. They talked about how they couldn't do what they wanted to do because of the conservative fan base, not because of censors, not because of what they could get through, but because of the actual conservative base. Like during Deep Space Nine, especially with the Dominion War, they really had to toe the line because that was like a booming industry. I want to say industry, a boom for them, and it was a lot of conservative. So, the Trill that tried to hook up with Dr. Crusher was probably the earliest LGBT depiction in Trek that wasn't done entirely in metaphor. I mean, did she really try to hook up with her afterwards, though? I forget that one. So they had no balls. So there's a couple of things to this. First off, I would say that they can pretend like they have a lot of conviction, but they obviously don't if they're willing to let that happen. That said, people got to eat too, right? You know? So if I'm a writer during that time and I want to push progressive ideals, but if I push wrong and I piss off the audience, there are hundreds of people that will lose jobs and that can't at that point feed their families. So it's a balancing act, right? Did Billy Haynes have any impact when it comes to Star Trek, J-Ray? Like, if I go to his IMDb, is it going to show me anything that has to do with Trek? And when you're talking about Billy Haynes, you're talking about William Haynes, born in Staunton, Virginia? Because that's what I'm talking to. I am not at any point talking to anything else. Wasn't the first international motion film created settle a bet on whether or not the horses ever had all four hooves off the ground while running? I honestly don't know. Okay. I mean, I don't know who Billy Haynes is. That'd be interesting. But what I was referring to was specifically Star Trek and specifically during the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I can't speak to anything. I wasn't speaking to anything before or after that. So, I mean, if something happened to Billy Haynes, I'm not saying it was within the industry. I'm saying it's within Star Trek. Wasn't the... I already answered that. As someone who lives in the Bible Belt, let me tell you guys, there's a lot of conservatives in this country. There's a lot of conservatives in the Bible Belt, I admit it. Well, it's one of the ways bigotry easily entrenches itself. Bigotry gets popular, then it's hard to keep your livelihood without supporting it. Progress is a slow ride. Yeah, I would say that about different things too. I don't think it's just bigotry. I think anything can become entrenched, and then if you don't agree with it, it's hard to keep it. Donovan, okay, that was my take, not industry. That was my take, industry, not Trek. Yeah, sorry if I was confusing there, guys. I was talking about specifically Star Trek. I wasn't talking about anything else. I honestly don't. I mean, I wouldn't know a lot about the other industries when it comes to specifically. Like who was homosexual, who wasn't. I believe Billy from the Power Rangers was kicked out. Do I think the Nexus was created by Universal's Union? Is like, let's stop talking about real stuff. Let's get back into what's important. The Trek lore. What's up, Yum Yum Podcast? Do I think the Nexus was created by the Q Continuum as a weapon that keeps the universe safe from a powerful enemy, but has other effects like the happy land people go to? Do I think the Nexus was created by the Q Continuum as a weapon that keeps the universe safe from a powerful enemy? So do you think it's like a prison? Because that's what it would be. I mean, is it within their power to create a prison like that? Possibly. But I don't know. Dude, are you okay? Are you upset because I can't give you food because they're not paying me? Is that what it is? Ooh, that was a low blow. That was a super chat low blow. What are you doing, buddy? Well, if so, I bet they Picard there because of all the Nazi ass. Well, if so, I bet they put Picard there because of all the Nazi. What are you? I'm confused, Fancy. Wasn't there gay or at least bi characters in Enterprise? Flax's race, the Denomian, have family units with several husbands and wives, all of which were implied to be intimate with each other. I don't know if they ever implied that they were intimate with each other, like through bisexual or anything. They were polyamorous. One of my problems... What's up, buddy? One of my problems was that they showed polyamory like they did it off as a joke more than anything else. And they did it off as a joke, and they didn't really go into it, you know? Hey, buddy, you want to say hi to him? I can't pet you like this, you know that, right? Like, this is a very inconvenient way to pet you. The Nexus theory reminds me of the saying God invented whiskey to keep the Irish from taking over the world. I have never heard that. The Nexus is a prison. You said Picard has Nazi undertones. Oh, I get it. That's probably why he's there. Nazi Picard. Can you go back up, buddy? Go back up. It's also purring. What do you want me to pet your neck? You want me to pet the top? I can't. This is inconvenient towards me at best, just so you know. Alright, go back up. Come on. Go sit back up. Sit back up. Come on. Sit back up. There you go. You're fine. They're protecting Israel. That's wrong. Oh, good. The Nexus is now the Trek Phantom Zone. It could be. Oh, good. This is highly more inconvenient. Thank you. That would be interesting if the Nexus would be a creation of the Q. I'm not aware of the writers of Trek ever explaining how the Nexus... Yeah, just like the destruction of Romulus. They never really explain it. I don't know what he's trying to do. I got no idea. I think he's about to jump down. You got food, you got water, so I don't know what else you could want. Cats care not for the comfort of their servants. It's true. That's true. The cat is your overlord when it's just you and him. Where did the supernova come from? Yeah, they never really explain it. That's what I'm saying. The only... I don't know. I don't think they ever explain where the supernova come from. Beyond that, the supernova itself, I mean, they kind of retconned it a little bit in Picard to make more sense. But like the ribbon just going through space, and the supernova, like the supernova is a big issue. So if the supernova comes through and it's going to destroy Romulus, then it is right in the way of destroying and just screwing up the Federation's world, right? Just giving the Federation a very, very bad day. So that thing would have to be stopped, like, at all costs. Donovan Bradford helping out the channel. Doing devastating damage to our good lad, No One. By the way, if you notice that, you see that? Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? That's pretty cool. Even in the books, there's no data of the supernova origin. It's all a mystery to the writers themselves. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you could write that effectively either. By the way, thanks for supporting the channel. The Nexus was created by the Plutonians. The Plutonians. The Neons. What did the Plutonians do? How did they destroy it? Oh, I'm tempted to play a game with you lovely people. Like, not with you, but play a game and you guys can watch and we could do stuff. I guess I could suck at... I guess I could suck at Bridge Commander if you guys want to do that. Not Bridge Commander. What the hell? I loved Bridge Commander. What the hell was the name of the game? That Star Trek game I play? Plutonians. Gotcha. Plutonians. Ah. The Phantom Zone was created by the Kryptonians? It was. Maybe the supernova was created by how bad Nemesis was? Like the antibodies of the universe had to destroy everything to cleanse? I mean, it makes sense. That's how I'd write it. The supernova that destroys Romulus is from the Q War in Voyager? I was watching the other day and there's a scene when someone says, "It's not bullets you're firing." You know, I don't actually hate that, adarcosta.exe. I don't hate that at all. If I was to write it, that's how I'd write it. You know what? You actually may have just made me money, Edar Costa. Thank you. I mean, started a conversation, Edar Costa. Thank you so much. Because I like that. I'm going to try to do a video. Let me write your name down so that I can give you a shout out. Because I need to do that. I don't, I get that people, get upset or frustrated or they don't like the conspiracy theory stuff that I do or whatever. And it's not that I'm running out of material, because there's stuff I can do. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in Legacy I could still do. And, I mean, I've not touched, for all intents and purposes, new Trek at all. So, I mean, I got content for days that I think could start conversation. I really like these where did this come from type deal, I think that's... The supernova was a Romulan plot to make themselves look weak, then attack when their enemy were lulled into a false sense of security. By the Zhat Vash. The Zhat Vash did it. And I'm just saying, who wouldn't want to marry Allie? That's all I'm saying. Who wouldn't want? Everybody wants to marry Allie. Put one in the chat if you want to marry Allie. The supernova, we already said that. Okay, Worf. What's Worf bring into this? By the way, I heard it called the Hobus supernova in dialogue, but was the Romulus episode ever called Hobus? I don't think they ever called it the Hobus, but I do think it was a rewrite of the one. I think they did that on purpose, just so they can keep it a little bit vague. But they can just go ahead and connect them. No, YouTube won't let me post my dressing gown and Jasper emojis. Dressing gown? Well, if you put it at james@lorereloaded.com, you send them to me, I will use them for you. I'd marry a Vulcan. Is that marrying up? Probably. I mean, who wouldn't want to marry a Vulcan? especially if you don't like having sex a lot. I think a Vulcan. Well, that said, I think Vulcans would probably have sex more than once every 7 years, because it'd only be logical to keep your mate happy. You know. Have you ever watched the YouTube series Star Trek Continues or Star Trek Phase 2? I have. I've even done a breakdown on one of their videos. I broke down in lore. I think trying to write around the plot holes left by others is a good practice for your creative. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm more creative when I can do the conspiracy stuff. I think maybe that's why I'm enjoying it more. They are from Mr. H Reviews channel. Not sure if it would let you. Oh, because your thing of his, yeah. If you send them to me, I could still actually technically put them in here, but I'm not trying to take or steal from a channel or anything like that. I definitely don't want to do that. Vulcan laws would be hell. I agree. Do Romulans experience Pon farr? I don't think so. I don't, because they haven't suppressed all of their emotions and whatnot. They don't have to go through that, because basically Pon farr is like it's oh, what's the name of that movie where you can go around killing everyone for a day? The Purge. Pon farr is basically the Purge for them. Fancy Teeth helping out the channel. Star Trek Adventures on Saturday. Ring that bell. That's right. That's happening. He did some more damage to our lad to no one. No one is currently the leader, has taken him over. If you are the final one to defeat the boss, you become the new boss. Putting it out there. By the way, man, you didn't have to donate $2. I can send that back if you need to, but thank you so much. But yeah, I've already told them Star Trek Adventures, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be doing. You guys remember with Jesse Gender and everyone? We got a whole new cast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Here, let me. You guys are going to enjoy this. Let me. You guys ready? Are you ready for it? Wait for it. So, because players get to have the naming conventions, and all players hate me when they come to playing this game. Let me tell you the names that we have so far. They will be serving on the USS Titanic. Not A, not B, not C, not D, not E, not F, not G, not H, not I, not J, not K. They will be serving on the USS Titanic L. The USS Titanic L will have its port at a Federation starbase. That Federation starbase is Costa Concordia. Starbase Costa Concordia. And they will be utilizing, when they go on their missions, for right now, the shuttle Hindenburg. I don't know what Zoomer humor is. I think that the first episode was probably the weakest of all of them. I actually do like Lower Decks and would encourage you to continue to watch it. Who do I think is the more untrustworthy, the Romulans or the Cardassians? Probably the Romulans, if I had to go. I always thought the supernova was because time agents to prevent another war, the Alpha Quadrant, after the Dominion War. It could be. How about a video about some of the lesser-known species that originated from the Vulcans? If you could find me any information on them, I would do it. Who names a dozen ships Titanic? Well, if you know, all of the letters indicate that there was a ship previous to it. So including the USS Titanic itself, so the USS Titanic, then we begin going down the letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. So there has been 12 ships with the name USS Titanic until we got to the L. But this one's going to make it, so you don't have to worry, because there's plenty of more letters in the alphabet. The appropriateness of humor has an age, but humor itself may not have any age. That is absolutely true. That is facts. And I mean, you can't take that away. That's just the way it is. Whoa. Gotta get up to get down. Gotta get up to get down. I don't even know what that means anymore. Alright, so this thing got rid of you guys. I don't even know where you went. There you are. For a Gorn video, any and all references will do. Okay, I'll throw it in the hopper. And you did more damage. You did more damage to our lad. See, it even changed. It even changed color. He was green. Now he's yellow. And they were all yellow. It is, you know, beyond the joking names, it's going to be actually played pretty straight. So it'll be interesting to see how all of it goes. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey filmed a scene at the same place as the Gorn versus Kirk battle. Me and Anti-Tracker were actually near there, and we were going to do some stuff. It just didn't work out, unfortunately. By the way, thank you so much for supporting the channel, Donovan. Only way I keep the lights on. I don't know, it seemed like it was trying too hard to be Rick and Morty in the space and failing. It does have a Rick and Morty feel. I don't think it is exactly Rick and Morty, though. What do you call a non-violent Klingon? A different species? It's true. It's true. Why are you using your claws? What's going on? Don't you look away from me. Don't you be cute. Use your claw. Hey, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you. What you doing? And what'll be interesting in that, for those who are curious, is the you'll be able to actually still do super chats and stuff, and you can actually impact the what happens. Gotta go. Seriously, check out Celluloid Closet. It helps give context to queer coding. I will take a look at it. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Oh, so close to destroying no one. Only 504 life to go. The history of homosexuality in cinema is cool. Also Gods and Monsters. Yeah, I have it down. I'll watch it, J-Ray. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Talk to you later. There are plenty of non-violent Klingons. They are not respected in their society. True. The Lower Decks show creator was one of the main dudes behind the scenes of Rick and Morty. Ha! It's 4 life. Wow. Wow. Thanks for super chatting, Fancy. You're so close. So close. And you have to do $1 to get it. That's crap, man. If I could put it, if I could change it. But I'll take a look at it, J-Ray. So what else are we talking? What's going on, my lads? I can actually do a thing if we need to. Oh, Fancy Teeth, $1. Lore Reloaded discovered the greatest of the lesser known Shatner works today. Wait a second, it gave you $1. That's crap right there. Thanks for supporting the channel, Fancy Teeth. That's crap. Oh, and it came after. How's that work? That would make me mad. You were robbed. You were robbed. Do I think that feudalism is the best form of government for Klingon psychology? No, I don't think it's the best form of government for seeing Klingon psychology like at all. Discover the greatest of the lesser-known Shatner works today. If you want to share some humor, search for a trailer called Incubus. Does it? Do you know if it has a copyright protection on it? You know who Shatner was on, and I didn't even realize until I saw him. Columbus. Not Columbus. Columbo. You know, guys, in all seriousness, you guys should check out Fancy Teeth. I know he's having a joke and whatever, but you guys should actually check his channel out. He does a lot better production than me. I don't know why he has so few subscribers. He was on Columbo. I didn't know that. Frackin' Cell and Majin Buu regenerates. I don't... What? The Lower Decks guy is also an episode on solar opposites. Okay, I didn't know that. So I'm about to play this, Lisa, but if I get hit with a copyright protection, then you and I will not be going out on any dates. Okay? Y'all want to hear something? I actually did not. So here's something that's crazy. I actually didn't realize how much I flirt with you guys, and you guys flirt back with me, until it was pointed out to me. Like I didn't even put that together. Apparently, I am a person of the night when it comes to that online, and yes, I am. I hate regenerate. Well, if Arctic Fox gives any more money, it will regenerate itself. That is correct. Yes, as it should. All right, here we go.
Galen Village. Tranquil. Quiet. And
Oh my god, all of that fucking... You see all of that graininess and everything? That's not just the film and everything, but it's white noise or light noise. I'm getting tired. I forget what it's called. You can actually, based on the lighting, have noise.
nice place to live.
Ow.
Something has gone wrong.
Look at the bruises on the kid's neck. One hell of a large hand. Spine was crushed like a piece of balsa wood.
When the sun goes down, something stalks the streets of Galen Village.
Shatner.
Joe wants to call the Attorney General. Have him send in some help. What do you think I should do? Take whatever help you can get.
30 years.
So we're calling the Attorney General. I don't think the Attorney General would help out a small town.
Ago in Galen, the same types of murders occurred.
I think my past has something to do with these murders.
No, Tim, listen.
Something silent. Something leaves.
Watch out! Watch out for that that inner door that probably is not even all the way done through. That's not made of full wood.
Something or someone is killing the people of Galen.
Oh, that 80s right there. That 80s distress victimhood.
The people of Galen.
I think I'm going crazy.
Every time he has this dream, somebody dies.
You're talking about actual materialization.
What kind of a quack are you? The boy's in the clear. He's not in the clear. Every time this kid has a dream, somebody in this town dies.
It is real. It is alive. It is among us.
I mean, just kill the kid, I guess. Was she using the restroom just then? That monster. So this is supposed to have Shatner in it? Or did I just play something that was not Shatner related? By the way, I got some support. Someone healed himself and even did more, gave himself more health, as you do. Arctic Fox up in the house, ensuring his domination for now. For now, you guys can take him out, though. Arctic Fox saying, I am amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, okay, this isn't it. So it's called Incubus with Shatner? I can look that up. Shatner Incubus. Oh, it's black and white, 1966. Oh, that's the full movie. I don't want that. Do we have a trailer from it? Alright. She, Arctic Fox. Okay, I'm sorry, she. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Arctic. You know I love you, baby. You know I love you. You know it's just I make these mistakes. I'm sorry. Arctic Fox into his house. Is Odo non-binary when he coalesces with the Great Link? Maybe. I don't know. I'm sorry, Arctic. I feel like I probably knew that too. I shouldn't have said that. All right, so there we go. Doing this for you, Lisa, but I'm also doing it for Arctic Fox.
Before the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Before Night of the Living Dead. Even before Star Trek. There was...
Dun dun dun.
Incubus. Incubus, the long-lost cult classic,
The long lost. Is it a cult classic if it's lost?
is now available on home video. Incubus, starring William Shatner, is the only film shot entirely in the artificial language of Esperanto. And has been rediscovered and remastered to terrify all those who didn't see it before. Now, audiences can once again thrill to the horror of satanic ritual.
That 1960s. Oh, man. Oh, please, God, YouTube, do not, ban me.
Thrill to the horror of satanic ritual.
There it is. You remember when they did all of that? When they weren't scared?
With excitement at the Succubi sisters. And look on with bewilderment as William Shatner speaks in tongues. Lost in a film vault in France for nearly 35 years, it was rediscovered by producer Anthony Taylor. Incubus, a masterpiece of expressionistic horror, does not disappoint. Weird and wonderful. The effect is maximum terror. Incubus, lost for 35 years and newly remastered.
Did they just show him being killed?
From director Leslie Stevens, creator of The Outer Limits.
Well, that's something special right there. That's I feel dirty just watching that.
Outer Limits.
There it is. There it is.
And cinematographer Conrad Hall, winner of the Academy Award for American Beauty, comes the terrifying tale of good versus evil and right versus wrong. Incubus.
What?
The rediscovered creepy cult classic packed with gorgeous blondes.
Oh my god. I love commercials and trailers all the way up to the 80s, even the 90s. I mean, after the 90s they started getting too PC, but oh my god, I just...
Satanic sacrifices, resurrection of the dead, and William Shatner.
You got blondes. All right, guys. So this is our movie. All right, here you go. Here's our movie. What's gonna be the selling points? We got to make sure that we get this right. So what are going to be the selling points? All right, here we go. Here we go, everyone. So the selling points, we got blondes, like a ton of blondes, like nothing but blonde. Do you like blondes? Because by God, that's what we got. We got blondes. All right, blondes. And then what else do we have? Well, we have satanic rituals. That goes hand in hand. You got a blonde, you got to have a satanic ritual. Okay, that's all that happened. I mean, the only thing worse than a blonde is a redhead that doesn't have a soul. Blondes have souls, so you can use them for satanic rituals. Can't do satanic rituals with redheads. They don't have souls. And then, so we got that. So we got blondes. We got the satanic rituals that the blondes go through. Then what else? What else do we got to do? William Shatner. William Shatner. The Shat Man. I actually have blondes. Shatner also has no soul. That's why they couldn't have. That's why they couldn't have redheads, because there'd be too many soulless people. Like if you have too many soulless people on there, then basically it's everybody dies. It's basically the truth. I don't. What is the point of in Esperanto? Why does that even matter? I don't get it. Then what about strawberry blondes? Souls or no souls? They are redheads that consume the souls of others and have basically eaten the souls, so it becomes a part of who they are strawberry blondes. That's just fact. I laughed when it said the film was lost for 35 years, thus making Shatner 1 year old when the film was made. It's true fact. I didn't even think about that. That was a good catch. Oh my god. Because he would be in like, what, if he was, even if we put him at 18, he would have been in his 50s when that released. That was a good catch. I never even thought about that. Commercials when they could straight up lie to you. I mean, that's just straight facts, though. That's just spitting straight facts. Shatner vampire confirmed. True. True. It would have been rediscovered in 1991. It was made in 1996. There's no way that that's from 1996. Or if you're saying if it was rediscovered, it would have been rediscovered in 1996. There's no way that that commercial... they still lie to you. They're just better at it. I mean, that's true. If you want to look at Discovery, Discovery lied like crazy. They lied. I mean, even Picard to a degree. I don't trust any of the commercials when it comes to all that. What would be a good comparison for what Captain Picard goes through with having been used by the Borg and his integration back into Starfleet? What would be a good comparison? Dude, I didn't even touch you. What are you doing? You okay? What's wrong? Alright. What would be a good... what's going on, Ryan? I think it would have been... I guess being captured and tortured to give information would be the best. That's not going to end well for you. Just, like... standing on my shoulder. Kitty demands I pay attention. I don't know. He just went crazy. He just like meowed and then he's like, give me attention. I demands it. He didn't like how I was talking about redheads because he's partially red. What are you looking at? Hope he didn't have a bad dream. That'd be unfortunate. Lay back down. No, lay back down. Oh, lay back down. That would explain, though. He did freak out, so maybe he was sleeping there. He did have a bad dream. You know, one time you're going to do that, and you're going to roll right off of me not meaning to. Back up. Come on. God, I got to get all of your fur off of me, too. This is my life. Alright, so what were we talking about? Alright, I gotta go. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Saturday is gonna be a lot of fun, but this time for real, I gotta go to bed. Talk to you later, Squizgar. Always a pleasure. I discovered that movie when I saw Shatner do an interview with Mo Rocca about the re-release in '99. That could not have been... why would they do a 99 commercial like that? A commercial like that in 99? Yeah, that's my problem. So we have 3 animals. I have a dog and 2 cats. And generally at one point or another, they come and they try to sleep with me. Now here's the thing. I don't usually let them sleep in the bed with me like when I'm awake. But they wait for me to go to sleep. And then they jump up there. And so I wake up and they're like, hey buddy. Hey pal, we've been sleeping with you all night. Hope that's okay. I mean, I guess it could have been... I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of looking at it from right now, though, because I'm looking at all the stuff I have. I could do a better job than that. But maybe... I guess I kind of see it. I guess. Alright, I'm going to be ending this shortly. Was there anything else, you guys, anything else of great import we wanted to talk about? I do have a big belly. Use a pill. I hate you, Donovan. Can't break the rules if I'm asleep. That's right. Well, I learned in high school, can't say no to a question unasked. That has served me quite well. Are we sure it wasn't a parody? No, that was a real actual film. My beard is cool. Well, thank you. Any thoughts on Star Trek Online's new event ship? I haven't seen it yet, so I guess it's going to show it to me. It looks like a whale. It looks like a whale to me. I heard and want to know, are they really thinking about rebooting DS9? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Possible to see more anime Trek series. We have another animated Trek series coming out, Prodigy. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do it more, given how well Lower Decks is. There are no stupid questions, only stupid people. I think there are stupid questions. Supposed to be based on a cruise ship. It looks it. Why would they make something based on a cruise ship, though? I don't understand. Starship trait leisurely pace. While at below 25% throttle, you gain a stacking bonus to exotic particle generators and control expertise. Enhanced soliton wave generator. It is a luxury cruiser. That's... Why would Ryza make... Oh, man. I like Star Trek Online, but I mean, I get that they run out of content to do, but why, oh, why on God's great earth would Ryza make a ship for combat? Why would they do that? Why? Oh, they should make a Star Trek version of Fantasy Island. They should. That's just spitting facts right there. All right. What's the last thing we're going to say before we outie? To give the Oberth love, it's no longer the weakest ship now. Have I seen the recent 4K remastered Babylon 5 release? They released Babylon 5 in 4K. I have trouble believing that because they were having Oh, that's crazy. Oh. The reason why I thought that was an issue is because they were, the main person guy was complaining about that. Maybe they finally did it. Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen it. I will, though. I'd watch the hell out of a remastered. Though, that said, it probably won't help because the graphics look bad even then. Talk to you later, Donovan. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Alright, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Thanks for helping out. I missed your content. I am just now able to get back to watching your channel. Dang play. Well, I'm glad you feel better, Arctic Fox. I hate that you weren't feeling well. I'm glad you're back on the mend. Alright. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to see you on the next.